The following entertainment banter you're about to listen to may contain potty language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back to entertainment banter for this celestial evening. My name is Joel.
And I'm Matt.
Can't even do it in a salty voice. Let's talk about some sitcoms, right?
Yeah, sitcoms.
Sitcoms. We haven't talked about anything really live action. Well, we talked about other live action, but I mean like old sitcoms, new sitcoms, modern sitcoms.
Yeah.
What makes a great sitcom?
Good writing.
Good writing.
And I think
good writing.
Good delivery too.
Good delivery. Like
Yeah.
the episodes of like a true good sitcom is where you can watch any episode and still be a good episode to watch, but they do go in an order, but you don't have to watch them in the order.
Right.
Which is great.
Right. Yeah, you're already bringing up great points because I feel like a lot of modern sitcoms, whether they take on that reality TV feel or not, they feel like they're kind of like a continuation story.
They started that. Back in the day, like Seinfeld never was like that.
Well, to some extent, they had repeat characters.
Of course. Like, you watched it from the first episode to the end, you feel like it's a story. But remember, the whole point of Seinfeld was it's a story about nothing.
Right.
Which was, like, it was never been done. And it starts off the way it ends, with nothing, pretty much.
Right.
Back to the same joke.
But see, in a way, that's still like a story arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to naturally create a story arc. You're going to naturally build off what you have. You're not just going to every day come up with something new. You're going to build off, what you already know. So you have these characters. You're going to build on these characters. You're always going to. So a story is going to pursue. But the whole point of Seinfeld was there was no true storyline. Like, it wasn't like we're going to watch Jerry Seinfeld get to this point. It was literally just him living his life.
Right.
Which was great.
That's
like, you've seen someone just live a life. Like, that's what we do. I live a life. Jerry lives a life. I want to go to the movies. I go out. I have girlfriends. I have boyfriends. Wait, no.
Well, it's funny because was there a sitcom that you remember watching that was like every time you're flicking through channels and every time you came across, you're like, oh, I gotta watch this. This is a good sitcom.
Big Bang Theory is one of those these days. I don't have cable anymore, so I don't just flip through channels like that.
Right.
Would you consider, like, a cartoon series a sitcom, like The Simpsons or Futurama?
Yeah, I would. Anything that's basically comedy related, I would include.
Like, just like a sketch comedy almost, like... A lot of
that,
these...
or I would, things like Archer, things like that.
But
I would even stretch it.
Yeah.
I would even stretch it to like some of the Cartoon Network, Adult Swim stuff. If you were, I would.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't stretch it there. I feel like a lot of sitcoms are based around a comedian's style.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where we get a lot of these good sitcoms. Like, I mean, you had was that George Lopez?
Yeah.
He did his own sitcom. John Mulaney got one. He got canceled.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more modern day, but I mean, Home Improvement. I think it's Tim Allen's, his stand-up.
Exactly. Yeah,
so it's just like it's based off their.
Gets his own.
Yeah, it's like based off their life kind of thing.
Ray Ramone, like Everybody Loves Raymond. That show.
Oh yeah.
That's my family to a T. I can tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can see my family in there a little bit. I liked Everybody Loves Raymond. What would be your sitcom? Like, if you sat down, like, you're just all flipping through, Curtis Television, and all of a sudden...
Mine's older. I'm going to date myself.
Oh, God, Family Matters? No, older than that. We're going to go like the Gilligan's Island?
Older than that.
Even older than Gilligan's?
No, not Gilligan's. But, I mean, I would watch Gilligan, but not the same way. No, actually, I really love Night Court.
Night Court?
Yeah.
Well, how is that a sitcom? Isn't that like a... Forensic Files or whatever?
No, it's exactly what it is. It's court at night. The whole premise is they have to go through court cases off of, the weird people of the night, like hookers and, whatever else. All the weird stuff. But it's so well written, and the characters are so well developed. What a character's response is going to be before they do it.
That's weird.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Night Court. Did you ever watch Dragnet? I don't know if that's a sitcom, but now we're just going to the TV shows.
I did watch it. I barely remember.
the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
You know, my dad used to watch it all the time, and I always remember that. Star Trek would be a sitcom, for sure.
What?
Don't you think? A sci-fi sitcom? No, I
That's
wouldn't
not
stretch it
funny.
there. No, I wouldn't. Never mind, I'm going to take that back. Let's rewind that. And then go
Oh,
back to...
gosh.
So Dragnet was a great sitcom. That wouldn't even be a sitcom in my opinion either, though. I mean, a sitcom is based off a community. Like, Titus was a sitcom. You know?
Yeah. I also enjoyed, it's not really a sitcom, but the Three Stooges. I've always enjoyed that.
Why we just... Now we're just talking about random TV shows.
No, because the Three Stooges is a form of comedy. It's
Well, yeah.
comedy.
Did you ever watch Growing Pains?
I did. When it was airing, it was one of the better shows that I liked at the time.
I enjoyed it.
Sure.
Yeah. The father reminded me of Mel Gibson, even though it wasn't Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like the era of Family Ties and Give Me a Break.
Yes.
Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince is a great one.
That one, 100%, if it was airing, I would sit down and watch it. Like,
yeah.
Seinfeld's a great show, but Fresh Prince, everybody watches Fresh Prince.
Well, I remember when that was airing for the first time, a lot of my, it was controversial, too, at the time. You know, the black community, some people liked it, some people didn't. But it has lasted the test of time. I mean, Will Smith was brilliant in that show. I enjoyed watching it. You know, Carlton, I forget the actor that plays Carlton. He was
in Silver
fantastic.
Spoons.
And then, obviously, the guy that plays Uncle Phil. Like, by the way, Uncle Phil is an amazing voice actor. He
really?
did a lot of cartoon stuff. Like, he did He-Man, and he did, I think he was Shredder in the original Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he was great. I think he passed away already. It's been a while, but I think he passed. Which is sad, but yeah. Anyways, so what other... You mentioned Home Improvement. I thought that was a great show for its era.
Home Improvement was great. Absolutely. Tim Allen, great guy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot because I'm a car person myself and I like things like that. So it's kind of like, more power.
Sure.
And it's funny, too, when Tim Allen talks about the show, he always mentioned, like, in his childhood, because, it's based off his childhood, more or less, that there was his neighbor that he can never see his face, Wilson next door. And, it's a great show. It was well written. It was well done.
Yeah. Well, do you think it was because of the characters? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's always about the characters. I mean, even just in, like, let's go to Fresh Prince back real quick. They replaced the wife in the middle of the series.
yeah, well, that was political.
I know, but it was just like all of a sudden, no one talks about it, no one says a word, all of a sudden the wife's different, no one, if there was social media back then, it'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But back then, it's just, it wasn't even the news, maybe it was like in US Weekly or something, maybe something like subtle that no one really read that much or something, but it's just one episode is this, and next episode, like, what the hell? Vivian changed.
Yeah.
I like the new Vivian. New Vivian was much better, personally, I think.
Well, they each have their own things, like they each had their own
For sure.
representation of what it was.
Yeah.
You know what show actually I go back and watch sometimes, and it's campy and it's terrible at certain times, but damn, it's also funny. Is Alf?
Oh.
No, seriously.
I don't think I watched Alf.
That character's brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think
so?
it's a really creative character.
I could probably go back and watch it and be okay.
Yeah. So what else? What else do you got?
Wow.
Want to talk cartoon ones like Family Guy or...
Would you consider Family Guy a sitcom? I mean, I guess it would be. Like, it's just like any sitcom. Like, you feel like the story progresses, so the characters grow, and they grow with everybody. But, like, Family Guy makes fun of it. Like, if something happens serious in the sitcom, and we're like, Dad, will everything be the same next episode? Be the same tomorrow? I'm sure when we air next week, it'll everything back to normal, Like...
Yeah.
It's just what happens,
Well, like The Simpsons, I mean, they just surpassed, what was it? Not Bonanza, but Gunsmoke, longest running series.
Simpsons was never... I thought Simpsons was, like, for the last 5 years, the longest running series.
No, they just now beat out Gunsmoke, I think.
What the heck's Gunsmoke?
It's the old Western show that used to air.
More than 32 seasons?
They had a lot. I don't know
Dang.
exactly how many. Maybe
That's
maybe
a lifetime.
episode.
That is a lifetime.
Well, it's a labor of love, right? At this point, those people that are doing it, because obviously they don't need the money.
Well, a lot of them do it when they're like, in their underwear at home. They phone it in now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, you're at this point now, like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm Homer Simpson's voice. Oh, that must be amazing. Yeah. I just send recordings in, and then give me checks. Like get like $1 million of episode or something like that. So it's ridiculous.
I don't even know anymore.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So
I mean, Friends, ever getting $1 million an episode.
Well, that was a big deal.
A good
Wasn't
sitcom.
that one of the first times that happened where the whole cast got $1 million?
Oh yeah, because they refused to do that season or whatever, and they all talked about it together, and they said, let's agree to this, and they agreed to it. They don't like when actors talk to each other.
Right. Well, it's interesting too because I think that was the season where they started to do like really big cameos. It's kind of funny. It's like the MCU right now. I don't want to get off subject, but you know how like people are coming out of the woodworks to do these cameos for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's what was happening with Friends.
Like Sylvester Stallone and all that.
Yeah. You got like every episode they were starting to get, especially towards the last season, or maybe it was the last season. They were getting these huge A-listers to guest star in their show.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
you know what?
I don't know.
You know what sitcom was fantastic and it just ended poorly? Married with Children.
Really? I don't know if I remembered how it ended.
Great. So, the last season, my dad was obsessed with the show. He took all his kids to go see it, live. I never got to it because it got canceled before I was old enough to go.
Right.
Really upsetting. It was like a coming-of-age thing for all of us because my dad's like, all right, we're going to go do this, it's your 15th birthday, we're going. I'm like, it's going to be me soon. And then it canceled. But how it ended was Kelly, if you've watched the show, Kelly got married, and it was like her wedding day, and that was the last episode. It was really poorly done. And the thing is, the actors didn't know it was the last episode. Fox didn't tell anyone. They were just like, up, and that's it, we're done. So all the performers were just like, what the heck?
Wow.
Like, it was just done. So there was like episodes, like maybe 4 or 5, maybe in the mid-season finale, Married with Children aired an episode where Al went to hell. Like he died. I forgot why he died. I think a big woman sat on him or something in the shoe store, right? And he went to hell. And then they're like, and he's like, through this door is the rest of your life. Now you got to open that door, and the rest of your life is going to be hell. And he opened the door, and it's just his life at home.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like, okay. And he just sits on the couch and puts his hands down his pants. And that would have been the perfect ending to the series.
Right, because it basically said...
Just start it over.
You could watch it from episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just great. It was like a perfect loop, and that was like, he's just in hell this whole time. And my dad's like, that's what he considers the last episode. He won't watch the rest now. It's just like, that's where he figures it ended.
Right.
So it was great. I mean, now it's kind of cool when you watch like Modern Family. Ed O'Neill's in that. And they guest starred the person who does Peggy.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And she plays his ex-wife.
That's hilarious.
Which is hilarious. And they have this banter kind of like how they had Married Children. It was great. It's great. I don't watch Modern Family, but I had to watch that episode. And it's just great when you see things like that. And it's just fun,
So, like, some of the modern stuff, like, I enjoyed 30 Rock. And Netflix has the show called The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt or whatever. Sure. I've been enjoying those types of shows. But
those, Netflix has a lot of soap opera-esque shows, not sitcom-esque.
Yeah, well, they do have few, but it's interesting. Like, they tried The Ranch, for example, which, due to the whole touchy-feely situations, like, I guess it got canceled with all that stuff going on. But it was interesting because it was, like, the first time they tried to do, like, I wouldn't call it an R-rated sitcom, but because it was Netflix, you could have open swearing and everything else, and it was a big deal, And
well, they don't get a limit because they're not, their rating system is a little different than TV. Right. A child just can't turn on Netflix. You give a parental, guidance on it.
Right.
Which is cool.
So, but is there what would you say was your favorite like modern sitcom right now? If you had time to watch something,
like right now, if I had time to sit down and watch a sitcom, I don't watch sitcoms anymore. I watch a lot of. I really like shows now that progress the storylines. And every episode's like a cliffhanger. Every episode you don't know what's going to happen next, and it's really interesting. So I watch, The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. I even watched The 100 that was on CBS. It's like the Dawson's Creek meets post-apocalyptic war. And
Right.
it's really good, actually. Surprisingly enough, it's actually really good. So I watch shows like that because I like storylines. I like feeling things. I like, Breaking Bad when you're sitting on the edge of your seat, and when the episode ends, you have to take a walk around the neighborhood because you're just like, what the hell just happened? I do enjoy a sitcom, but I haven't really seen anything nowadays I'd watch. I mean, Big Bang Theory was the closest show I watched that was a sitcom. I mean, Modern Family. My family are watching it. I'll sit down and watch it with them if I'm over, and I won't complain because it has its moments. But I haven't.
Well, what about like The Office or
Hated
Parks
The
and Rec?
Office. I don't like The Office, and Park and Rec. I never watched it.
Well, because they had continuing story arcs. That's why I was asking.
Well, then would you consider Arrested Development a sitcom too?
Yeah, I would. I would
You
put it
would?
in that category. Yep. You know what I learned about that show? My brother told me. You know how Netflix created the most recent season?
The last two seasons.
Yeah, and it was done differently from all the rest of the show. Apparently, they went back and re-edited those so that now they're like the old show style.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have to go back and look at it.
They filmed a lot of there's a lot of scenes in that second to last season. The one that whatever network canceled and Netflix picked up that season. They did a lot of filming at the theater I worked at in the lobby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, if you could pick your favorite, what about like sitcoms from like the past? Like you're talking like the Brady Bunch,
The Brady Bunch,
or like
like
Sanford
Nick
and
at Night
Son,
back in
that
the
kind of
day,
stuff.
like Welcome Back, Kotter.
The Jeffersons. Like,
Oh,
do you
man.
have a favorite?
I liked Welcome Back, Kotter. That was John Travolta's like TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Like Happy
Up
Days.
your nose with a rubber hose.
Yeah.
I never really watched Happy Days, but I like the reference Jumping the Shark. I really like that reference.
Oh yeah. Well, did you ever see that episode?
No, but
It's hilarious.
Brian the other day, just at work, was just telling me how Marvel jumped the shark with Avengers: Infinity War. I'm like, get out of here! They didn't jump the shark.
Well, first of all,
DC jumped the shark.
That phrase is obsolete. It's now you nuke the fridge because thanks to Indiana Jones 4.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
You nuked
That's
the fridge.
That's the new one now.
No, it was made of lead. You didn't read the sign? It was made of lead. That covered them. It was made of lead.
It doesn't matter. It's the whole principle behind all of it. What about things like I Love Lucy or Dick Van Dyke? Those are some
I Love
classic
Lucy
shows.
was great. Dick Van Dyke, I don't remember that much, but I Love Lucy was great. What about I Dream of Jeannie?
Yeah. And then Bewitched, obviously, was another one. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, I don't know. I never really watched much of The Honeymooners. I need to go back and see what that's like.
The Honeymooners.
Little Rascals.
The old school Little Rascals.
Yeah, the old school ones, yeah.
Wow.
Munsters. I enjoyed the Munsters.
The Munsters. Yeah, these are all these shows I watched, like, when I was growing up at Nick at Night. But now Nick at Night has shows that I had when we watched during the day.
Like college.
Yeah, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is on Nick at Night. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Now we gotta watch TV Land to watch those older ones.
Right, and that's and to me personally, I like the older ones a lot. Actually, I've been watching Taxi with Danny DeVito.
Taxi.
And a whole bunch of other
Andy
people
Kaufman.
Yeah.
There's just so much like out there now. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
When you say out there, you mean like in today, like modern today, like there's a lot being pumped out, or
there's just so much. Well, no, I'm just trying to say like
decades?
back in the day, why you're talking about how like you appreciated those ones more because they didn't have special effects, they didn't have things we have today, they didn't have fancy cameras or booms that would do cool things and get these cool shots or drones. Now all they had was like cameras on tripods and sometimes not go-karts but wheels, what would you call them, carts, I guess, wagons, and they got what they got. I mean, a lot of these things were built in studios and they did the film in studio. Nothing was filmed on location, everything was filmed on studio
lots. Or if it was very special. Like Cheers, like Frasier's wedding in Cheers.
Yeah, Frasier was a good one too.
Yeah,
but it's just like so. There was more concentration on the acting.
Yeah.
So there was more feel to it. The writing was better. I mean, I don't want to say better, but it was different. Mm-hmm. So I can see the appeal to it absolutely. And then you got more sitcom spin-offs. You got Happy Days that turned into Joni Loves Chachi.
Right, and
You
also
had
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
Mork and Mindy didn't have a spinoff, did it?
No, they spun off Happy Days too. Because apparently
Mork and Mindy spun off Happy Days?
The character Mork actually first appeared in Happy Days.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Appeared in Happy Days.
Yeah, as Mork.
I may have to look that up.
Yeah.
That's interesting. As the alien
that's
Mork.
That's actually 2 shows that spun off from Happy Days.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
And then Cheers had Frasier.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting where these shows spin off and they're completely different shows. Like Cheers is taking place pretty much in a bar.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Frasier takes place pretty much in his apartment.
In Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, in the coffee shop.
But I loved that. I mean, and I loved Frasier had a lot of cameos of Cheers characters, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they brought characters back to show that it was a spinoff. Like, they never really said it was. It's just like if you knew what Cheers was. Because I watched Frasier for a while, and all of a sudden my friend goes, this is a spinoff of Cheers. And I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't really, it doesn't ring a bell until if you're not even to watch it, you don't realize it.
Yeah, no, I liked Frasier. I thought it was great.
What spun off Friends? There must have been something because it was so successful.
No, but you're making me think of, I don't know why, but you made me think of, it wasn't a real comedy, but do you remember like Miss Bliss that turned into Saved by the Bell, and then they did Saved by the Bell the college years?
Saved by the Bell. No, I don't know. No.
Yeah, it was awful, but it was hilarious.
Awful.
Like that, you made me think of that because of the spin-offs and stuff.
They're doing a pop-up shop of 90210. I forgot.
Really?
Not 90210, sorry. What did you just say? What was that high school show?
Saved by the
Bell, yeah. And the girlfriend wants to go to it. She really wants to go. She didn't get tickets because I told her I'd go with her, but I'm not a Saved by the Bell fan. But they're making like the restaurant or the high school, like you go order food there and it's gonna be like how it was in the show.
Oh, that's funny.
Like those little pop-up shops, like like we're gonna be here for a week, or a day,
That's
whatever
cool.
it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like when they built the Simpsons house, the real Simpsons house.
Someone actually lives in it right now. I thought.
Yeah, I know they won it. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
We
ridiculous.
should look that up. I don't know who won it, but that's hilarious.
That was off. Yeah, with the oil stain and everything. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. So one thing that was kind of cool when I was a kid growing up, because you mentioned like Family Matters and stuff, like TGI Friday, like really became a thing when I was.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm talking like the first time it really started to become a thing. Like it was Full House. I think Family Matters.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah, well, before that, it was like Perfect Strangers. You remember that?
No, I don't.
Belky Bartholomew or whatever his name was. Don't be ridiculous.
No, that's not helping, buddy. That's not helping.
This is like, yours was like, I think a couple decades later. The one you're talking about.
I mean, you're pretty old.
I'm ancient. Yeah. So if you could sum up your 3 all-time favorite sitcoms, what would it be?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
Married with Children.
Okay.
Oof. The third one. I mean, Simpsons got me through my childhood.
That's true.
I don't like it now, and it's hard to say I want to put in my top 3, but it definitely got me through my childhood.
All right, I'll give you a break. You can have 3 regular sitcoms, and then I would say 1 animated sitcom.
Oh, no, it's not helping. I don't know what my third one would be then for like a sitcom like that. I liked In Living Color, but I didn't really watch it that much.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So would you include Saturday Night Live?
Oh, Seinfeld would be my third one. Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
Yeah. I know for a fact, I would definitely say, like I said, Night Court.
Night Court.
Yeah, and then I like Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond. I liked it. I liked the brother's voice. Raymond. It was just, it was just great.
And for animated, I'll definitely give Simpsons its prop. Because, I mean, you can say what you will. A lot of people start complaining about like it's old,
Yep, I do.
Stuff.
I do.
But I still laugh. There's always something I laugh at in every episode.
Because it's modern. It's like it's everyday stuff. Like every episode has something current event in it. So
yeah,
you can go watch the original season of Simpsons and go, "That's what was going on in the world at that time."
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of like history.
Yeah, I don't know what I would pick for the last one. That's a tough one. Like shows I constantly enjoy watching. It's tough. Raymond and Night Court and I don't know what my third one would be, to be honest with you.
If you don't choose it, You're gonna
choose
die
it for
tonight.
me. Uh-oh. Well, then I better pick something.
Yeah, you better.
All right. You put me on the spot here. Let me see.
You put me on the spot, and you had time to think about it.
Well, no, you're right. You know what? I can always enjoy Fresh Prince. I'll say Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
You can't. No, you don't get to choose.
What? Yes, I can.
That's 2 answers you chose that were mine. No
What are you
original
talking
thought
about?
in your
Simpsons?
brain. Simpsons?
Wait, Simpsons and
Fresh Prince.
So, all right. So.
No, you can have them. You can have them. It's fine. Great minds think similar.
Well, if I can't pick them, then I would say Family Guy and I guess Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Yeah. If I can't pick Fresh Prince, although Fresh Prince was originally I would put that first.
I would always watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Home Improvement was good too.
Yep. So that was good. That was good. Little sitcom action right there.
A lot of sitcoms. A lot of shows that people probably don't realize. But
Do you
wait.
remember the one about the little girl that was like a robot? I can't remember what it was called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
On that note,
80s.
On that note, my name is Joel.
Perfect Wonder or some shit. I don't know. I can't remember.
Better finish the line, Matt.
Oh, and I'm Matt.
I'm done.
Stay tuned for the next video.